from Liverpool or indeed
Arsenal and Liverpool.
Aston Villa then with a 2-0 victory, a big win, and of course, as I mentioned at the top of the show, ideal for Manchester City, who now have fate in their own hands for the first time in 2004. If Pep Guardiola's side win their remaining 6 matches, they are champions. There's nothing Arsenal and Liverpool can do about it. Before the title race, Jan joins us. Let's talk about this game. Oh, Shaka's one. I forgot Shaka's with us. And Shaka, who is the kiss of death, Arsenal fans. No doubt about that. He goes to your game, watching Arsenal against Aston Villa, and then Arsenal lose. And what sort of blow will that mean to their title chances? We'll speak about it in a moment. Shaka, were you surprised how things played out, certainly in the second half, considering what was at stake and what they knew had happened at Anfield just before this tie?
Yeah, I really was. Listen, walking into the game, I'm going with a few friends, a couple of whom are Arsenal fans, and the Liverpool game finishes just as we're kind of making our way around, and all the Arsenal fans erupt, singing for Crystal Palace. And I say then, listen, this is a defining game for Arsenal. If they win today, Arsenal will go on and win the title. If they don't win the title. And I felt a lot of that pressure told in Arsenal. I thought they were very good in the first half, control the game. Yes, the Ollie Watkins chance, but that was all Villa had to offer, and that came of a defensive mistake. And then the second half was just the total opposite. Villa dominated the ball, passed the ball around at the back wonderfully well, and just drew Arsenal in. And at no point did it feel like Arsenal were playing their way back into it. And that was a huge surprise. And as the game went on, you just kind of felt that there was something in store for long periods. Yes, you thought it would pan out to be a 0-0. But as the second half drew on, even though you're thinking 0-0, you're thinking, I don't see Arsenal winning this. And that's exactly what happened. And then all of a sudden, Leon Bailey comes off the bench. A little bit of a surprise substitution. I thought Zaniolo was the less effective of the wingers. I thought Diaby was really good in the first half. But then he pops free, scores the goal. Ollie Watkins, who had not run into a channel all game long, all of a sudden just shrugs aside Smith Rowe and very cool with the finish. And as that second half went, it was fully deserved for Villa.
Shaka, the Arsenal fans that you were they surprised, given the magnitude and what was at stake for this tie, that he made the changes that he did? We've talked about so much how Kai Havertz is a much better player for Arsenal when he's playing up front. Jorginho offers that protection, Declan Rice goes forward, but he reverted back to a type which has shown to be vulnerable this season.
Listen, it absolutely was odd. And let's keep in mind, Villa played on Thursday, Arsenal played on Tuesday. So I'm really not sure. And then Havertz is such a polarizing character, and as is Jesus, in all honesty. And we're talking about lack of finishers, certainly on today's games with Liverpool, and similarly with Arsenal and Jesus and Havertz. I thought in spells during the game, Havertz link-up play between midfield and Jesus was really good. But whenever Havertz got the ball in and around the Villa box, it was flat. I mean, his performance was flat. The feeling in the crowd was flat. Jesus, similarly, that it was almost, if they scored, it would come as more of a surprise than any kind of expectation for both of those. And we're talking about a team that, well, intended to be top of the division. Yet you don't have a goal scorer that even fills your own home stadium with any kind of confidence. And I thought that spoke volumes to where Arsenal were. As for a lot of the changes that Arteta made otherwise, it was bemusing. Maybe he expected a more flat Villa. Maybe he expected the Villa that he got in the first half all game long. I think there's also certainly in the stadium there's a feeling around Arsenal and second half performances and late goals in particular that maybe it was coming. But listen, I'm no Arsenal fan, but I didn't share that I didn't share that optimism. I just felt that between Havertz and Jesus, they don't have a goal scorer.
Jan, you haven't been shy in blowing your trumpet. I proved you're all right, all wrong. Kai Havertz is worth all the money. He's come in. He's going to lead Arsenal to this title. And you've been absolutely right. When he's playing up front, obviously he offers so much more than playing in this midfield position. We know that. Why doesn't Arteta know that?
First of all, I'm glad to see Shaka being at the hotel room in London as I'm home. We always have to have one there. Yeah, I think that Kai Havertz is best when he play up front. I mean, as you were saying that I've said who laid him to the title, I've just said that he will do well for them in that position when he plays up front, because that's the best they have at the moment up there. You have players who score goals, and then you have goal getters. Ollie Watkins is a goal getter, and he's been that for that season. So that is that thing between. But I think, boys, that there will be a lot of twists and turns yet. I mean, it's just 2 weeks ago we said that Manchester City were gone after they couldn't beat Arsenal at home.
We know, Jan, there's going to be twists and turns. And I don't think anyone thinks everyone's going to win out. But this is Arteta absolutely dropping the ball in a big game, isn't it?
Absolutely. And he did that, and it just needs to be said, as we haven't talked about it, a great performance by Villa. I mean, Emery's coming back, doing a former Arsenal coach. He was a bit, I'm not saying bullied, but it was a bit criticised for his way of doing it. He came back with a good plan, and it took them. And Arsenal were warned today before they got the goals. But yes, this build up on that thing that Arteta doesn't take his team. He doesn't take his performance in the big games when you're getting there. When you're getting into, I always love to talk about my months. When you come into April and May, then you'll see who teams are there. Manchester City did that this weekend, but I will think that there's a big bonus for them that both Arsenal and Liverpool against Aston Villa and Crystal Palace will lose. Could lose points, but losing, that was not an Arsenal performance that we expected. And that was just a kind of showing that Arsenal haven't come that far. But again, I think there are some games left, and we shouldn't go in the same trap now and say that Arsenal and Liverpool are gone in the fight for the title.
Why is he doing it, Stevie?
And this is the question I would love to know the answer to. When you're the head coach or the manager, whatever you want to label it as, you need people around you who are able and have got the stomach to, when they think you might have been making a mistake, tell you. I would love to know if anybody in Arsenal's coaching staff turned round and said to Arteta, why don't we leave Havertz where he is?
Yeah.
He's the guy that's been putting the ball in the back of the net. Why don't we leave him up there? Why are we changing? We're in a great run of form. He's in a great run of form. He's scoring goals. Oh, and by the way, when we've played him in the middle of the park, he hasn't done a good job for us. Has anybody in Arsenal's coaching staff got the stomach to turn around to Arteta and say, Gaffer, I think you're making a mistake? Because it doesn't seem like it. Because I don't understand why you take somebody who is in the best form they've been in for goodness knows how long, not just at Arsenal but in Chelsea, and you move them. That's meddling, if you ask me.
Is he thinking about Bayern? Like, what's going on? Is he? Because it's Villa. It's not Luton. It's not Sheffield United. Right. You know that Villa are going to come and they're going to push you. So why make the change? Why not stick to your winning formula?
I never understood the changing for change's sake. Yep. I think we all understand if there's players out and you have to hey, can you do me a favor for a couple games? And can you move in this position? And but that really wasn't the case. It was almost like a case of, I'll show you.
Too clever.
I can overthink this. And again, to Stevie's point, yeah, hey, what are we doing here? What? No, let's. What is always the key to the best teams? The best teams, particularly at home, are going to say, when Stevie, some of your, all conquering Liverpool teams, are we going to change at home? For somebody else?
I mean, we knew what the team would be. Yeah. You get in a position where you're winning, and you know what the team is, and you know what it should be as well. Yeah. It's one thing to respect the manager, and you love the manager and the whole thing, but we all as players know who should and who shouldn't be playing.
If I'm at Leicester and we're going to Anfield, we might have to change some things. Yeah. If we play them heads up, we're going to get stomped. But Liverpool aren't going to look at Leicester and go, oh, hey, I better move McManaman here. No, we're Liverpool at home. Now,
This is what we do.
this is what we do, and hey, we'll make adjustments because we got a great squad. We got players. If things are going wrong, we can bring him in here and we can do that. But before the game, if I'm Arsenal and I'm in the run that I'm on, and I'm playing against a good Villa side that obviously needs results for Champions League, but I'm not going to overthink it.